Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Tuesday, June 23rd, 2020. We're in the final hour of the trading day, my favorite time to make the majority of my buying and selling decisions for my swing trades. I say this because during the day you have the day traders and the algorithms. They are the one that are controlling the prices. They are the one that are in control. At the end of the day, in the last hour, particularly in the last few minutes, the large financial institutions start waking up, start making their decisions. They're dealing with the most money. They have very smart people. Very good technology, very good information, and they start moving, they start taking the price control away from the day traders and the algorithms. And so I like to ride on their coattails as far as making my buying and selling decisions right before the market closes. So anyway, thank you for coming by today. I always look forward to seeing everyone. I think we have such a great group. I am definitely thankful for that. And I hope you're all having a nice day. I hope your positions are doing well. We're going to take a look at those in a little bit. But boy, it's been a crazy market. Last night I was on the phone on Skype with Gary, former student of mine. We were doing a little follow-up call, and the futures were up. Then the next thing I looked, they were down 400, and we're like, oh my gosh. And Gary said, apropos, he said, watch, the market will probably be up 300 points tomorrow. And sure enough, he was absolutely correct. So anyway, we have Mohammed here. Hello, Mohammed. Good to see you, sir. Mohammed says, hello, Greg. Hi, fellow traders. Hello, Mohammed. Quad Racers here. Hey, buddy. Good to see you, Quad. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Kamal is here. Thank you, Kamal. Just got your update. Thank you for that. We'll be going over that. All right. Well, let's see what the market's doing. The market currently is up 200 points. The Dow was up about 200 points, 0.77%. The NASDAQ is up 110 points, up 1.10%, and the S&P is up 23 points, up 0.75%. So Apple has had an unbelievable day. We're going to take a look at that. But let's take a look. And Bob is here. Hey, Bob, good to see you. Nice having you here, sir, as always. And Zach is here. Hey, buddy, good to see you, my friend. Appreciate you making the time. All right, so this is the plan for today. First of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we're going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them moving forward. I didn't have any day trades today. I had somebody over, and so took a break from the screens, which was nice. So I don't have any day trades. After that, we're going to go through, take a look at everybody's positions, see how they are doing. And then after that, I've already gone through my watch list, and I've already gone through the list that Kamal sent me and identified a few potentials for the end of the day. As I mention each day, my requirements for entering a trade at the end of the day, my three requirements are: one, look for a combination or a confluence of signals. I look at each indicator like MACD, RSI, moving averages, ATR channels, V1s, V2s, all this kind of stuff. I look at them as potential groups of buyers, and you will definitely put yourself in the position, a much better position to have a profitable trade. You'll improve your chances dramatically if you're in the company with as many other buyers. So I like to look for a confluence or combination of as many buyers coming in at the same time on the daily chart, and even on the higher chart, even on the weekly chart. So that is requirement number one, and that is what Kamal's scanning does. He looks for all the potential entries, all the signals that I look for, and basically gives them a score and aggregates it both on the daily and the weekly. So we're going to take a look at those. It's important, just because it has a high score, you still have to look at it with the human element and put it into context, risk to reward, things like that. So anyway, I've identified a few. We're going to go through, take a look. Secondly, have to make sure you have a good risk to reward. You have to make sure that if you're going to be able to risk $100 to the downside, you want to make at least $200 or more to the upside based upon valid support below you and based upon likely resistance above you. You don't want to buy something at 200 and say, I'll get out at 199, but I'll get out at 585. Well, okay, great risk to reward ratio, but how likely is it? You know what I mean? And then number three, always want to be aware of your positions. How many positions do you have? Are they correlated? It's good to have diversification among industries. It's also good to have diversification among different types of securities. They don't have to all be stocks. You know, they can be gold, silver, dollar, bonds, right? As much diversification as you can get in securities, and as much diversification as you can get in actual signals, different trading approaches, is the best. The more diversification, really, the better in trading. Then if something meets my criteria at the end of the day, I'll go ahead and take it after the market closes. If anybody has any questions for me, happy to answer them, happy to clarify anything. If you have any stock symbols that you'd like me to look at, very happy to do that. If there's any stock symbols that you'd like me to look at before the market closes, please let me know. Put an asterisk by it or a little emoji or something so that I know it's time sensitive, and I'll do my best to get to it before the close of the market. And then lastly, after the market closes, if you have any changes for me as far as your current positions that are up on the board, if you would like me to add something, subtract something, that would be the time to do it. But please be so kind to just wait till the end of the day so that I have time and the pressure is off. Okay? All right. Well, that's the plan for today. So listen, hold tight. I'm going to run that U.S. legal disclaimer, and I will be back shortly. About 40 seconds. Thanks. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right. Hey, Frank is here. Good to see you, Frank. Frank, the trading poet. Always nice to have you. Thanks for making the time. Okay, well, let's get to it then. First on deck, Upwork. Make sure, yeah. All right, so this has been a great trade. Quad, Kamal, Miko, Karen, Pinsky, David, and myself, we did buy this back on the 18th of June. We had a nice confluence of signals. We had a higher low V1. Here's day one, day two, washes out day one, closes above day one's close. A lot of sideways motion. I like that because sideways motion, from sideways motion comes moves. And big moves lead back to sideways motion, and sideways motion then lead to big moves again. You don't know which way, but we were hoping it was going to go up, and it certainly did. What I also liked about the day that this signaled, we rejected the 200, we rejected the 20, the 10, the 5, and this was a great trade. It was up 10% yesterday, up 10%. So really, really great trade. If we look over on the weekly, it held support of the 50-day moving average, held support of the 50% fib of this big bar up. And so anyway, you know, if I look at it carefully now, look, we got close to tagging the third ATR channel. On the daily, we have a V1 to the downside. We also have an open that's lower, I'm sorry, the close, current close now, that it's lower than the open. I'm considering taking this off today, at least taking half off, unless it has a miraculous recovery. But barring a miraculous recovery, I am definitely going to take minimum half of the position off, maybe even possibly the whole thing. But I mean, you know, it's up, let's see, up 7.2% from entry. I did hit one profit target here, right gap at the open, which if you use profit targets, that's what you're going to see. A lot of your profit targets are going to come at the gap. And, you know, we talk about that with the S&P, with the overnight, you know, getting a lot of those gaps. And it's the same for other stocks. So you can see that was a good time to at least phase out of something there. So I'll have to make a decision, but doing really well so far. Hey, Steve Burns. Good to see you, my friend. Always an honor, always a privilege to have you here. Hope you and Holly and the dogs are doing well. Always excited to have you in the chat. It's a big deal for me, and I know it is for everyone else. So thank you for making the time, Steve. Steve says, hello, everyone. Congrats on everyone's Upwork trade. Thank you, sir. It was a very good trade. No doubt about it. Frank says, who are the folks out of sight who trade the markets overnight? Can't find or reach them on the phone, but the market they sure set the tone. So buy the close and sell the open, because past returns sure keep us hoping. Wow. All right. That's great. Let's read it one more time. Who are the folks out of sight who trade the market overnight? Can't find or reach them on the phone, but the market, they sure set the tone. So buy the close and sell the open, because past returns sure keep us hoping. Well, that is true, and that is definitely apropos, because buying the close and selling the open is what I do every day with the SPY. And you're right that the past returns do keep me hoping that it will continue, but you never know. That was great. Hey, Gary, good to see you, my friend. Gary the Psychic. We talked last night. Dow was down 400 points on the futures. Gary said, it'll probably be up around 300. And sure enough, it was. Quad says, thank you, Steve. Zach says, Greg, when you take half, are you half of your initial entry of half of what you have remaining? Half of what I have remaining, Zach. Half of what I have remaining. Kamal says, Upwork has a MACD crossover today. Oh, I didn't notice that. Yes, you're right. It sure does. Even with that said, well, is it? Yeah, I guess it is. 49.64, 49.22. Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, that's another group of buyers that potentially could be coming in here for sure. Quad Racer says, excellent poem as always, Frank. I agree, 100%. Okay, let's take a little look-see over here. AGQ. So Kamal, Gary, Quad, Karen, and Steve. Steve Burns is in this trade. I don't know why I don't have this on here. Let's put Steve on here. All right, so we all bought silver back on the 19th of June at 27.79. We had the 5 cross under the 20 EMA. Close back over, good back tested results over time on this. Doesn't win every time, but it puts you in a position, if you're wrong, getting out quickly. If you're right, to possibly catch a trend. So we all bought it right around here, about 20.79. Yesterday went up, hit a profit target, which was good, reversed back. Today gapped right back up. I hit another profit target there at 28.42. So not too bad from entry to current close, about 2.46%. So my stop on this is if the price closes below both the 5 and the 20. And also if the 5 crosses below the 20, I'll sell the other half. If it continues to move up, which we all hope, I will phase out as we start to move up. Gold. Well, same trade as silver. Let's see, we have Gary in here. Anybody else? Do I only have Gary? I know Steve has gold, but he has the double leverage gold. So, the GLD here that I took with a 520 crossover, same as the silver trade. I bought half of my position here. It was a little extended. I thought I'd wait, see if I could get a little better price to roll in my second half, and I did that right about here, giving my average entry price here about 162.78. Moved sideways, came down, moved sideways, and it's taken off nicely. It's taken off really, really nicely. And Steve has double leverage, so he's up twice as much. And so let's see. But currently up about 2.21%, meaning Steve's up about 4.4% if the numbers all work out right. But Anyway, this is doing well. We are getting close to the third ATR channel. It's, 92% of prices do tend to fail here, or at worst go sideways. We're at a 62.78 RSI. So, if we get up here to a 70 RSI with the confluence of the third ATR channel, I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes open to possibly take some profits or get out of the trade if I don't like the price action. Pets. Well. Okay, so let's see. We have Frank, Kamal, Gary, and myself. We all took pets yesterday. Had a nice confluence of signals. Under 50, over 50, 5 crossing under the 20, back over. Took out a fractal over here. Gary and I talked a little bit about fractals. Rejected the 50-day moving average. On the weekly, came into the value zone. Closed back above the 5 and the 10. Bought it here at 37.06. Went up nicely this morning. I did get out exactly at $38 was my first profit target. So I did hit it at $38, which again, this is why I like taking profits with phasing out, because you never know if you're going to gap up and reverse back down. So locked in some profits there. The market can't take it away from me. And if it does keep going down, then it mitigates the loss. One thing that concerns me just a little bit on this trade, though, is see the previous highs over here, these two, and then see the previous high here. Well, it's a false breakout to the upside. So we went up, that new range failed, came back down. So I am going to take half off on this because of that today. SPY. All right, here we go. So I do buy the SPY every day at the close of the market. I hold it overnight. I take the overnight risk. I sell it the first thing the next morning. Taking the overnight risk, I believe, is where the edge is in this approach. But this back test is from Liz Ann Saunders. They did it every day since 1993. She's at Bespoke Invest on Twitter. 2 approaches here. First approach, buy the SPY at the open, hold it through the day, sell it at the end of the day. If you use this every day from 1993, negative 13.9%, which is interesting because we know the market's gone up since 1993, but look at that. If just the daytime return was actually negative, all the profit came from buying at the close, holding it overnight, taking the overnight risk, and selling it first thing the next morning. This approach gained 634.2%. So big difference between the two. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. We don't know if this is ever going to work again. A day in history, another day going forward in the future, it may not. But to date, the blue line is the buy in the afternoon, sell in the morning. The orange line is the buy in the morning, sell in the afternoon. Over time, all this has done is gone up, 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 up. There are definitely some significant drawdowns for a significant amount of time. But I look at this as just holding the S&P. I'm a buy and holder of the S&P. It's just that I do it during the nighttime, not during the daytime. Okay. That being said, I did buy SPY yesterday at the morning, 310.62. Sold it this morning at 313.50. So nice little overnight trade there. About $3, just under $3 overnight. So anyway, very happy with that. I again will buy this again because I buy it every day at the close. Oil. Okay, did buy oil here. Well, let's see. I bought it on the weekly. This is a weekly trade, so this one's going to take a while to work out. I did buy it Friday because when you trade weekly bars, you base your trades at the end of the week, which is Friday because that's the end of the bar. Bought it here at 28.25. It went under 30, over 30, triggered a V2 back above the negative third ATR channel. Bought it here at 28.25. Currently, it's at 28.73. So up 1.77% so far on the trade for the week. And Kamal bought this on the daily, bought it a lot better price, bought it here at 26.97 with the pullback into value, bullish engulfing bar V1. Bought it here at 26.97 and it's raced up nicely. It was up nicely earlier, but now it's down 0.9%. Walmart. I did buy Walmart. Let's see. I know we have some other people. We have Frank and Kamal in Walmart. Did buy Walmart back here on the 19th of June. We had a V2. Here's day 1, 2, 3. Day 2 washes out day 1. Day 3 closes above day 1's close. Also rejected the 200-day moving average twice, which is good. Bought it here at 120.01 yesterday. Had a really nice day. Hit some profit targets yesterday. Today got another profit target. Again, this is why I like profit targets, because if you gap and reverse, a lot of times I will get out of some profit here. I got out at 122.66. Don't like the action on this bar here. Getting close to triggering a V1 to the downside, getting close to triggering a losing the 50 RSI. I'll have to see what happens at the end of the day. I may take this one off today. And then Apple, I was watching Apple all day just in astonishment. As you guys know, guys and girls know, I have a friend of mine that sold just a ton of Apple calls. And so the last thing he wants this thing is to go up. And look at this from the open. Just non-stop, relentless, non-stop, relentless, non-stop, relentless. Finally, on this V1 engulfing bar to the upside. And let me tell you something. You know, I've told you that I've studied with Larry Williams. Generally, a bullish engulfing bar is bullish. But what Larry taught me was that at high extreme levels, a bullish engulfing bar is actually bearish. Most of the time, you know, if you're buying a dip, a bullish engulfing bar is bullish. But what he taught me, I've never done a lot of studying with it, but you know, he taught me when you're at extreme high overbought levels and you get a bullish engulfing bar, it's generally bearish. And boy, was that true. And look, we have one big up bar here and another big down bar here. I can't remember what these trades are called, big bar trades. When you have one big up one and then immediately one big down one, that's generally bearish. If you have a big down one followed by a big up one, they're like I think it's called the skyscraper trade. That's bullish. But this here was bearish, and boy, it was bearish, wasn't it? It was bearish. We came down here to the 50, but anyway, no trades on that, but I did want to point that out to you. All right, I'm done with my trades. Let's take a look at everybody else's trades. XLU. Kamal did buy XLU yesterday at 57.57, a V1 false breakout to the downside here. It was up earlier and now has reversed, so down 1% there. REGN. Kamal also had a really nice trade here. Nice setup. We have a false breakout to the downside with this previous low of this range, plus a nice V1 in the value zone. Bought it here at 592, and look at this. Just took off. Yesterday, we held the 50% mark of the large bar up with lower volume, which is good. The big bar up showed a lot of people buying. I think this is just profit taking. We're still holding this above the 50 RSI. We're still holding halfway of the big up bar, but down 0.48% today. Frank's had a monster trade on Snap. Bought Snap back here, I think, with this breakout at 1875, and it has just moved up nicely and nicely and nicely, up 25.57% on the trade. Fantastic, Frank. Congratulations. CRM, Glenn bought CRM at 185.11. I think with this breakout of this previous high here, it's moved up. It was up higher earlier. Reject the third ATR channel, V1 to the downside, down 1.4%, but still up on the trade. Frank bought TLT back here. A bunch of us bought TLT back here. 156.10, went under 30, over 30, rejected the sixth ATR channel, negative 6 ATR channel, and was a great trade for all of us. Moved up here, here, here. I think I got out here with the close under the previous day's low. Moved sideways, went down, and now it's just kind of moving sideways. But down a little bit today, but still up on the trade. MDB, Kamal, here's another one of these kind of combo trades where you have a false breakout to the downside of the previous low, and you also have a V1 with the bullish engulfing bar. I love these trades when you have those combinations. Bought it here at 201.70, just moved up, moved up, moved up, had one little down day, up nicely yesterday, up again today, but well off of its highs, and it rejected the 1 ATR channel. Alibaba, Frank has great trade on Alibaba. A bunch of us bought this. It was just a return to value trade, sideways motion, bullish engulfing bar, V1 here. I think we all bought it about 206.69. Moved up nicely, nicely, nicely. I think I got out here. I think, not sure. But then it kept moving up, had a little dip down, up, and up beautifully today for Frank, up 3.65%. Dexcom, Glenn bought Dexcom here intraday on the 15th at 375.16, and this has just gone up, 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 up. Beautiful inside day today, which is sometimes telling. MDB, Kamal, another beautiful trade on MDB. False breakout to the downside, V1, bullish engulfing bar, 201.70. Oh man, I already went through these. Sorry, I went back and I started. Anyway, sorry about that. USO, okay, we already talked about USO. Kamal had the 26.97, pull back to value in the V1. That's up nicely so far. NCHL is Glenn. Glenn did short Norwegian Cruise Lines here at 1943. Immediately went his way to the downside, up 6% today, but still looks like up 6.9% on the trade. So very, very nice. Spice, Pinsky, all right, bought this here at 1531, false breakout to the downside over here, V1, bullish engulfing, gapped up originally, went down, kind of held, did hold the halfway, the washout bar, then had a monster gap up yesterday, big bar down today. That's kind of what I was talking about, you know, those skyscraper trades with, you know, a big up and then a big down. But anyway, he is definitely still up nicely on the trade, about 8%, even with the down move today. All right, what do we have left here? DDOG, Frank. Frank dipped his toe in and bought some DDOG at 84.90. Moved up nicely, was up beautifully earlier. Has rejected the third ATR channel and possibly a V1, but I remember he just took a small position on this one. BMY, Kamal bought BMY, this higher low V1, rejection of the 200-day moving average. Bought it here at 56.34 and moved up beautifully yesterday. Also moved up nicely today. Moved up above the 200-day moving average, which is also very important. So congratulations, Kamal. Let's see. Up 3.89% on the trade. And lastly, UUP. So a bunch of us were in UUP. I did get out yesterday. I don't know if Karen, Gary, and Andrea are still in the trade, but we bought this with an under 30, over 30, and a V2. Bought it here at 26.18. Moved up, took some profit targets, and moved up, hit another profit target, another profit target, another profit target. I got out yesterday with the close below yesterday, the previous day's low. I don't know if Gary, Karen, and Andrea are still in, but if you are, please let me know. Mohammed says, hey, Marco, good to see you, buddy. Mohammed says, Greg, if connect the bottoms on the RSI on this chart, it would give an exit criteria, the chart you discussed before silver. before silver. The one I discussed before silver was Upwork. If connect the bottoms on the RSI chart, would you exit? I'm not sure. Sorry, Mohammed. I'm not sure I quite know. If you're saying if the RSI comes down here and tests this low, would I get out? Is that what you're asking? I'm seriously thinking about just getting out today because of the because of this V1 to the downside and the close below the open. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but I don't know if I answered your question correctly. But Upwork is the one before silver. Kamal says a net. Yep. So we have a rejection of the 200-day. We have a rejection of the previous low. Pull back to value on the weekly, which is good, and we're holding. It's not too bad. I don't like that it rejected the 50-day moving average, though, Kamal. Let's look at the monthly. Monthly is okay. Not much there. I mean, I do like the pullback into the value zone, and we do have the 200 here. I do like the rejection of the 200-day moving average. I don't know. That one's not really speaking to me, to be honest with you. Starbucks. Well, we have a V2, a higher low V2. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly's in the value zone, which is nice. Monthly is undetermined. Well, here's the thing. If I would have taken the trade, I would have gotten out if we rejected the 50-day moving average. And we already have rejected the 50 moving average. And I think we may have rejected the 50 RSI as well at the top. Not quite, but it did reject the 50-day moving average. So this one doesn't speak to me either, Kamal. Gary says, I have GLD. Okay, good to hear that. Oh, I have you here. I have you here on GLD. Steve Burns says, you are good, Greg. I'm currently up 4.11 on UGL. Okay, I knew I was pretty close. I was going to show it, but I forgot the symbol. So thank you for reminding me. So, yeah, Steve bought right here when we had the 520 crossover, but he expressed the trade in UGL instead of GLD. But anyway, both beautifully up. But of course, UGL is double leverage, so it's up double. Hey, speaking of gold, getting close to that second profit target. That would be pretty sweet, right? Quad says, Kamal, I'm thinking SBUX might be fighting the 50 RSI resistance. Yeah. David says C. Citigroup. I haven't looked at this for a while. It's interesting. The financials are a little bit interesting here. We do have, we're working on a V2, but one of the requirements on a V2 where I don't take the trade, Gary, is when we have a gap. And see a gap larger than a quarter ATR, and we do have a gap that triggered this V2. We made a lower high over here. If you make a lower high, I'd like to see it wash out that previous low if possible. There's another financial one that I'm going to show you that I noticed from Steve's post that I'll show you that might be a little cleaner, possibly. Gary says, looking to buy puts on Square if I get a V1 to the downside. It's still above 70. It's still above 70. It's still holding support at the third ATR channel, which is now support underneath it still. We did have a big bar yesterday. I don't take V1s to the downside if the previous bar whether to the upside or the downside if the bar is larger than 1 ATR. I mean, this has been an unbelievable move. I mean, no doubt about it. This has just been a monster. Steve says, I will be buying SPCE if we get a 520 crossover. Oh, is that even happening today? Oh, thank you for letting me know that. That didn't even get on my radar today, Steve. So thank you. So we'll look at that. Let me do some numbers here real quick. And Steve says he's taking a half a position because of the, it's such a big mover. So let me get this on the list. I have a new row here for our end of dayers. Muhammad says, this works for me. I connect the tops and bottoms of RSIs. Oh, I see. Okay. Makes sense. Gary's at a UUP. All right. Oh, yeah, there you are. Steve says a new signal I found for financials while working on my new moving averages e-course is the 520 EMA crossover in FAS. I will buy 520 FAS crossover if it happens. That's the post that I saw, Steve, and that is why I have FAS right here on the potentials. Right now, the 5 is at 34.10, the 20 is at 34.17, so not quite a crossover yet. Okay, so listen, before we kind of start narrowing down into what's potential today at the end of the day, as far as, looking at our candidates, making sure 3 requirements, right? Combination, confluence of indicators lining up at least on 1 time frame, ideally on 2 time frames. Number 2, good risk to reward ratio based upon valid support below you and realistic resistance above you, at least 2 to 1. And number 3, make sure you keep in mind your positions that you have, the correlation that you have. Are they in the same industry? Are you too heavily weighted in one area? Make sure you have diversification in your securities, and ideally even outside of securities like gold, silver, bonds, things like that. So anyway, this is the time of the day I like to talk about trader psychology. I think it's the most important. I really think it's the most important skill in trading is being able to handle your emotions, being able to follow your plan. And so there's some really good Facebook and Twitter channels out there that do a great job of posting good information. And one of my very favorite ones is Trading Composure, at Trading Composure on Twitter. If you don't follow him, you're doing yourself a disservice. Please follow him. He has really great posts. So let's see what Trading Composure has to say today. When in the grip of strong patterns of thought and emotions, the more pragmatic approach is to always ask yourself, does this go against my plan? So what is he saying here? There's times when I'm looking at the charts and I literally say outside, are you freaking kidding me? This is ridiculous. Like, when things are just going down relentlessly down or up relentlessly up. And, gets in my mind, oh man, I want to short this. Maybe I want to buy this, which is fine if it's part of your plan. But I know emotionally when I get to a point, because I start speaking out loud to myself or anybody around me, how ridiculous it is. So I know when I get to that level, that's a level I have to be careful, because that's a level that I may just take a stab at something. Right? And that's what he's talking about. When in the grip of strong patterns of thought and emotions, that's it for me when I start speaking out loud to myself and Katie. The more pragmatic approach is to always just ask yourself, does this go against my plan? Pretty simple, right? So if you get to that emotional kind of climax of like, this is stupid, this is ridiculous, this can't go up anymore, this can't go down anymore, and you want to take a stab at it, like Trading Composure says, just simply ask yourself, does this go against my trading plan? And if it does, just don't do it. It's pretty simple, right? Easy to say, hard to do, but this just does this. If you ask yourself, does this go against my trading plan? And it does, just don't do it, because we know big picture, we're not going to make any money unless we have a decent trading plan. It doesn't have to be the best trading plan in the world. It just has to be decent. Small losses, let your winners run, right? Have a plan, but all that does no good if you can't, if you're doing something that goes against your plan. So anyway, I read that. I thought that was very good for me, and it was, and I thought it would be helpful for you as well. One more time. When in the grip of strong patterns of thought and emotions, the more pragmatic approach is to always ask yourself, does this go against my plan? And if it does, just don't do it. You're going to make more money in the long run. So thank you, Trading Composure. All right. Gary said SPCE. Yep, that's on the list of what I'm going to be looking at here in just a sec, Gary. Kamal says, Steve Burns, FAS is 3X financials. Is it 3X? Doesn't look like it's going to trigger anyway. How do you position size these? Steve says the average loss is 5%. The average win is 10 on the fast 520 day based on what I am using my normal position size. Maybe Greg will show the back test. Let's take a look. Oh man. All right. FAS, yes, 3 times. I had this conversation with Gary last night. If you use the 2 ATR for your position sizing, it will give you exactly how many, whether it's double leveraged, triple leveraged, or whatever, which is one of the reasons I like it. Okay, here we go. This is from etfreplay.com. They gave me permission to show this. So just to be aware, YouTube and Google, that I do have permission to show this. Here's the 520 EMA crossover on FAS. Here's the back test. Buy and hold returned 90.6%. The using the 520 crossover, 182.8%. And it made more money than buy and hold, and the drawdown is almost half of buy and hold. So pretty good, 38.9% win percentage, about 2.25 to 1 profit factor. So yeah, all in all, pretty good. But currently, the 5 EMA is 34.11 and the 20 EMA is 34.17. So the crossover has not happened. So that looks like it's off of its lows there. Yeah, Apple's starting to make a little bit of a base there. Wonder if that will rally into the end of the day. All right, real quick before we look at the new positions, let me check my old ones or my current ones. I think I'm going to take half of my Upwork off. AGQ is fine, no problems there. GLD moving up nicely, no problems there. Pets, I am definitely going to take half off of that because we have a false breakout to the upside and a V1 to the downside. SPY, going to buy the overnight SPY trade, obviously. USO is the weekly trade, no problems with that. Walmart, we have lost the 50 RSI. We have a V1 to the downside. Very likely I'll just lock in profits on Walmart here. All right, let's take a look at the potentials for today. Bristol Myers Squibb. Okay, Kamal already has this trade. It is nice that it has bounced or closed above the 200-day moving average right here about halfway of this big bar. Let's see, did it reject the 50 RSI? That's the question. Yes, it did. So it did reject the 50 RSI today. So I'm not going to enter the trade based upon that. You know, you could enter with just a close above the 200, and if it closes below, get out for sure. But I don't like that it rejected the 50 RSI. SSO, this is a good back-tested approach on SSO with the break and close back above the 200-day moving average. 28.51 compared to 28.53. Not thrilled that it's closed below the open. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly had a higher low V1 last week, which is a positive sign. Looks like we're above the 50-day moving average, 50-week moving average, which is good. MACD is positive. We're above the 50 RSI on the weekly. So the weekly looks good. I don't really, and we've tested this high and rejected it twice and have come down now. So that's a little concerning for me. I don't like that one now as much as I thought. Disney, we had a V1 yesterday, but it was up against a big bar. It was a higher low. We did reject the 100-day moving average. We did reject the 5 and the 20 and the 10 today. It is holding the 50 RSI, but I don't like how it got here to halfway of this big down bar, the 50 fib here. Yeah. UNH. Now that's pretty strong. You know, it looks like we're close to a crossover. We did take out these previous highs, which is good. We went under 50, over 50. Let's see, did we do that yesterday or today? Oh, yesterday we went over 50 with the V1. That was the time to buy it, right? With the higher low V1 and the rejection of the 50-day and under 50, over 50. Now, I mean, it's still, you know, RSI-wise, it's still pretty neutral, slightly positive at 55. On the weekly, we are in the value zone, which is good. And we have had quite a few days of sideways motion here, which is also good. I always talk about sideways motion leads to moves up. Let's see, this is UNH. So that one is definitely a potential. UNG. This also came from the scanner. It looks like we had a false breakout to the downside and a rejection of the negative third ATR channel. It did not go under 30, over 30. MACD is negative. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly's at 26.49 RSI. I just don't. We do have a double. We have a double bottom with a bullish divergence. Here's the low with the deep bars. We have a rally, made some green bars. Now we've come down. Now we're lower than this low and less red than over here. So there is a double bottom with the bullish divergence here. I don't like the fact, see how long we've been under the 30? I like when it comes to the 30 and bounces, but now this has been buried under the 30 for a while, which is not as good. I'd like to see a gap down, reversal back up tomorrow, giving us a V1, under 30, over 30, and a false breakout to the downside and a rejection of the third ATR channel, negative third ATR channel. That's what I'd like to see. FAS, we talked about that. Currently, the 5 is under the 20, so that is not valid at the moment. Uber, we have a higher low V1 yesterday. We rejected the 50-day moving average. We rejected the 200 and the 100, and it was higher low. Did we reject the 50 today? 50 RSI? No, not quite. We're right in the middle of this big down bar, the Fibonacci point here, which concerns me a little bit. Weekly's not bad. It's in the value zone, so that's a good place to have it on the value zone. I don't know. I'm not thrilled about that either. PSCT had the gap here underneath the 200 here. I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it if it rejected the 200-day moving average at all. And SPCE. Yeah, we do have the crossover. We have the 520 crossover. We have MACD crossover, which is good. On the weekly, we're just sideways motion. I don't like that we rejected the 50. I don't like that we had a big up bar and now we're having a big down bar. I mean, you know, it does backtest well, but I think I'm just going to let that one go, to be honest with you. ANTM. Didn't we just look at that one? ANTM. Anthem. Yeah, well, Anthem had a V1 last on the weekly, daily. Listen, this one's not bad because this one does give you a V2, and it also, what just happened? It gives you a V2 and a close above the 200-day moving average, which I kind of like. We didn't reject the 50. Actually, I kind of like this one the best. Let me run some numbers on that real quick. So that's healthcare. And then we also had UNH over here, which is healthcare also. 54.82, 46.64. I like this one. It's over the 50. I like that one better. I like it for that reason. This one has a better risk to reward ratio. Okay, let me quickly take a look at current positions, see what I have to do here. All right, I'm going to get out of half of my up work today. AGQ is fine. Gold's doing great. Pets, I'm going to get out of the whole trade. I don't like that we had a false breakout to the upside. Big bar up, big reversal bar back down. Hit the one profit target. I'm just going to take a very small loss on this, but I am going to get out of all of Pets. SPY, I'm buying that. Walmart, okay. I might as well just get out of Walmart right now. Okay. Steve says, another new moving average crossover I like is the 1030 EMA and SSO, DDM, and QLD, as well as 1030 SMA and IWM. There are other patterns I found recently, hundreds of signals recently. Big VIX rally into the close. Is that right? Let's take a look at VIX. Oh, yeah. Sideways motion leads to big bars. And now it's coming back down a little bit. SPCE, I think I'm just going to let that one pass. It does have the 520, but I think I'm going to let that one go. PSCT, no. Uber, no. Fast, doesn't look like it's going to have the crossover. UNG, I like that one for tomorrow. Disney, no. SSO is right there, but I think I like UNH. I think that's what I'm going to buy today. Yeah, I'm going to buy UNH. I like the breakout over this range. Comes from a higher low. All right, let me go ahead and buy my UNH. Okay. And now I'm going to get out of my pets. And I'm going to get out of half of my Upwork. All right, there we go. So I got out of half here on Upwork. AGQ is fine. GLD is fantastic. Pets, I am out. Took a small loss from 3706 to 366.80, but again, I did take some profits up here, so that helps. USO is fine. Walmart, I already got out of. Locked in profits on there. And then Apple is interesting. V1, false breakout, bounce off the 30 RSI, but now it's selling off into the close. And I did buy UNH. So that was a whole lot of stock looking to find one entry, right? But that's really, I think, the way you have to do it. I think you have to get your candidates, take a look, put it in the context of risk to reward, everything else, right? And I think a really good policy is if you buy one, if you only buy the best trade of the day. And to me, that looked like the best trade for me, for sure, all in all. Oh, gold's rocketing. Is it going to hit my profit target? You know I like my profit targets. No, not quite. Quad says, got to run. Thank you, Greg. I'm out of Upwork. Okay. Gotcha. 10-4. All right. So listen, if you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any updates for me as far as entries or exits up on the board, please let me know. Before I do that, I just want to quickly put in my daily plug just to remind everybody that I do offer private one-on-one coaching and teaching lessons in the evening time via Skype. I love to teach. I've had really good success with my clients. I have studied with some great traders over the years, like our friend Stephen Burns, Carrie Lavorne, Dr. Alexander Elder, Larry Williams. I've studied with each one of these traders one-on-one. I think it's the best way to trade. And I do have a course that's 5 sessions. Each session is 3 hours. And in that course, I teach you every single thing that I've learned over the years from my experience in trading and everything I've learned, all the strategies from Steve and Dr. Elder and Carrie and Larry. And my course is just a compilation of all of those different approaches. The course is 5 sessions. Each session's 3 hours. It's 15 hours of one-on-one study. I think it's the best way to learn. So if you have been thinking about it, reach out to me. You can send me an email. The email's in the description of the video. You can send me a message on Twitter, at Gossett Trading on Twitter. But if you do reach out and you are interested, what I'd like to do is just have a free Skype call with you. It's totally free. There's no obligation. It's not a sales call. I will not ask you if you want to take the course. I'll just say, hey, it was nice talking to you. If you're interested, you get back to me at your leisure. That's how it goes. I promise you. I think it will make you a better trader. It is $1,000, but I think it's worth every single penny. I've had a lot of students this year, and in my opinion, they all seem to be doing really well. So anyway, if you'd like to, up your game a little bit, have a better understanding of the markets and how I trade, I don't teach anything different than I teach here in the live stream, but it's different because here I'm not teaching as much because I'm trading and looking and thinking. But when we have the one-on-one lessons, it's 100% focused on you, your questions. I listen to your voice a lot, make sure. Sometimes I don't buy what you're saying, so I'm like, are you sure you understand that? Let's try it one more time, right? So anyway, if you're interested, I think you'd really enjoy it. Please reach out to me and we'll set up that Skype call. And then if you like today's podcast, if you could hit the thumbs up button, I would really appreciate that. I really would. It helps grow the channel, helps show YouTube that there's something valuable on the channel. A lot of people out there need help with some trading, and so anyway, if you could, before you click out of here, I would really suggest that or appreciate that. Excuse me. Okay. All right, so we took quad off of Upwork, right? So I'm going to move Upwork over. No, sorry. There we go. All right, I got out of pets. Now let's see. Upwork. Okay, I took quad off there. Frank says Walmart, I have a stop in at break even. Okay, so Frank's still in Walmart. Gary says I took UNH. All right. So I have to go to the doctor after I leave here. I hurt my shoulder a few months ago. Do you remember I was telling you about it? Like, my shoulder hurts, my shoulder hurts. Anyway, it hasn't gotten better. So I have to go see the doctor today, and I really hope it can be fixed with physical therapy because I do not want to have surgery. I'm not sure how I do the podcast, honestly. So hopefully I'll have good news when I go, but I'm a little apprehensive. Kamal says, I sold XLU and bought Anthem. Okay. So XLU, see, Kamal does exactly what you're supposed to do. When they're going your way, he holds them. When they are not going your way, he gets rid of them. He gets rid of the weeds in his garden, right? And that's what we need to do. Losses are weeds in the garden. We want to keep that garden free of weeds and let our vegetables and our flowers grow. And our vegetables and our flowers are our profitable green trades. Okay, Kamal, got you down for the Anthem and got you out of XLU. Bob says, Under Armour, any thoughts? Oh, I haven't looked at that chart for a while. Okay, so we come into the value zone, we bounce, we make a lower high. Now, when we make a lower high, ideally I like it to wash out that previous low. And you might say, why? Why? Because when you make a low and then you bounce and you make a lower high, a lot of time this is like a magnetic area for the market to come down, set off those stops. I would much rather have it come down, wash that out, reverse back up with the V1 or a V2 at the same time you had a false breakout. Now, that being said, it's a pretty decent V2. This bar is a little large, but not too bad. It is at a 50 RSI, so we went under 50, over 50, under the 50-day moving average, over the 50-day moving average, and a V2. It is a higher low one, but the real higher low ones come from under the 1 ATR channel, go into the value zone, then come back down. This one has not gone under. So I honestly, I'd rather see that washed out. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly is, it's okay. MACD went positive. We're in the value zone. Like, it's decent on the week. Nothing great, but nothing bad. Not too bad, but this does give you a good risk to reward at the very least. If I were to get in this trade, I'd get out here with the close under, but ideally, Bob, I would really like to see this washed out first. Hope that makes sense. Evan says, I took Anthem as well. Okay. Yeah, Anthem's good. I mean, it gives you a good risk to reward, right? It closed above the 200-day and a V2. Pretty good. No doubt about it. So good luck to you and Kamal on that. All right. All right, so we have Evan and Kamal in Anthem. If we compare, where's my trade? UNH, right. I already got it over here. See, UNH, not as good a risk to reward, but over the 50. Anthem, better risk to reward, but still has to contend with the 50. So there's trade-offs there. Karen, hi Karen, good to see you. Karen says, hi everyone, I am in UNH and space. Okay. All right, Karen is in UNH and space. Good to see you, and we need to finish your lessons, Karen, as soon as you're ready. Karen says, out of UUP yesterday. Okay, glad to hear that. Because that was down yesterday. I don't know if Andrea's still in it. I haven't heard from Andrea, so I'm not 100% sure, but I'll keep it up there in case. Gary says, good luck, Greg. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Hope it goes well. Kamal says, finally, you will go to the doc, Greg. Yeah, remember last week I said I couldn't get in until Tuesday? I've been telling Kamal about my shoulder. So, yeah, I'm going tonight. Enjoy the day. You too, Gary. Bob says, makes sense. Thank you. You are welcome. Kamal says, Anthem has a score of -1 on the double screen and UNH a score of 4. Yeah, that makes sense. Boy, Apple had a fall, didn't it? I mean, it was still up 2%, but if you look at the 5-minute, that thing just did not want to come down. I mean, look, it was relentless, just relentless. But anyway, came back maybe about 40%. Oh, speaking of, Okay, so SPY got filled at 312.05 and UNH at 297.84. Okay, so SPY $312.05. Boom. And UNH 297.84. All right. I got that one a little higher. I didn't wait till the end, but I had a lot of stuff to do. Okay. Everything looks good there. All right, so UNH got in there. Upwork hit the profit target, sold half the position. AGQ hit the one profit target, which is good. Gold, very nice. Hit the one profit target. Didn't quite get to the second. Maybe, with any luck, get it tomorrow. Apple, I don't have that. SPY, the overnight SPY trade, and USO. Okay. Evan M. Score. Kamal says, I think there are some data errors for 200 SMA for ANTM. My scanner thinks it's below the 200 day. Oh. Well, I definitely see it above, right? I do like the V2. I mean, I like the V2 with the really good risk to reward. I mean, one little, you could use halfway below the washout bar, or you could use a close below the 200 if you wanted to have a smaller stop. But I like the sideways motion. The sideways motion to me says, it's more likely to break out one way or the other. Gary says, your poor friend, I feel his pain. I know. And the thing is, his strike price was 360 on some of the calls that he's selling, and what it closed at yesterday, 358.87. And so now now it's an in the money call, so the delta's higher. It's going to move more in line with the price. I know, Gary, dang it. Kamal says, Anthem is holding 200 SMA on dividend adjusted chart, rejected 200 on the unadjusted. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, look, this is the adjusted one. And if I unadjust it, it's below. See what I mean, Kamal? So it's below the 200 on the unadjusted, and on the adjusted, it is above, and I use the adjusted. And if you don't have the option for adjusted or unadjusted, just use what you have, just use what you have. Evan says, Evan, I have a market scanner that scores the signals based upon various signals like V1, V1s, V2, support, rejection of the 200 SMA, etc. It's pretty dang cool, Evan. All of the signals like Kamal just said, V1, V2, 200-day moving average, break over the 200-day moving average, under 30, over 30, figures in sideways motion, false breakouts. And then I believe Kamal added another layer to it so that if you have something negative above you, like let's say Pets had a V1 to the downside. So I believe his scanning software and his code would then take some points away for the negative V1, right? So it really has, adds up all the positives, adds up all the negatives, nets it out, does it on both daily and weekly time frame, and you get the highest score. It's unbelievable. I was just so freaking impressed. Okay, well, what's going on after hours here? Okay, Apple's unchanged. Silver's up a little bit. Gold's down a little bit. Qs are down. SPY's down a little bit. UNH is down, but big spreads there, so I don't give that a whole lot of credence. And USO down a little bit. All right. Kamal says, Pets is -4 because V1 down false breakout. Yeah, there you go. That's what I was just mentioning. You know, it factors in the negatives as well. So Pets going into yesterday was really high, right? That's why I took it. But now we have a V1 to the downside, false breakout to the upside. And now the score is -4. So I didn't know that obviously till Kamal just said it. But you know, when you look at charts, you can. That's why I sold it. I didn't have a scanner or code. I guess I just had to, you know, use my brain a little bit. But you know, false breakout to the upside, rejection of the 1 ATR channel, V1 to the downside. So I was just fortunate that I hit the 1 profit target up there today. Kamal says, but I'm still holding. It is in the penalty box for sure. Yeah, could go either way. You know, if it goes up tomorrow, we can have a big up day because we had a big up day. We have a bearish bar. That's why it painted this green triangle. If tomorrow, if it goes up, the significance of that is that you have a bearish reversal bar, which is bearish and, you know, likely would go down. But if you have a bearish reversal bar, but then it's strong enough to go right back up against it, now it switches to bullish again. Okay. Oh, looks like Steve took Spice, so let's get Steve up on the board. Where did he go long? 1641. Okay. And we'll put Steve there. All right. Good to have Steve up there. And speaking of, I should probably UGL. Let's get Steve on UGL. UGL. All right. Don't want to miss out on that one, and that happened right there for Steve. Right about there. All right, so it looks like we've got the board looking pretty good and pretty accurate. Bob says play. Yeah, this one's closer to washing it out, though. It is very similar to UUA, Bob, because we come down, we make a lower high. If we make a lower high, we want to wash out that low. We got pretty close. Is this a V2? Let's see. Close is 1601. Yeah, that is a V2. I like this one better. I like this one better than Under Armour. But ideally, I would have liked it to wash this out. But you have a nice V2 here. You went under 50, over 50 at the time you, under 50 RSI, over 50 at the same time you triggered a V2. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, in the value zone. Yeah, very similar, but I like this one better. I'm not sure. I was freaking up 10% today. Holy smokes. I looked at that bar. It doesn't look like a 10% bar, does it? Hey, listen, if somebody had told me I had to take that trade, I would be pretty fine with taking that trade, actually. Frank says, I did have a rotator cuff tear a few years ago, but it did heal. Ah, interesting. You know, I don't think it's a rotator cuff. I think it's a strained bicep tendon, just from watching a bunch of YouTube videos and whatever. But I'm going to find out tonight, but I'm glad to hear that it did heal without surgery, it sounds like. Oh, Wiener Dog is also in UGL. Okay, thank you for that. Sorry, sometimes we have all these positions and a lot of people, and sometimes I just don't get them all. Fantastic, Karen. Beautiful. Okay, so listen, I'm going to get out of here, head to the doctor, hope it's good news. So thank you all for coming today. I really appreciate it. Please go out, try to do something nice for somebody today, just a smile or a wave or just a nice little gesture. Just be pleasant. So let's do that. Remember, being nice to people every day does help your trading. It's a scientific fact that I came up with no research at all, but it sounds good, right? So, and then if you could hit the thumbs up button before you get out of here, I would really also appreciate that as well. So thanks for coming today. Nice spending time with you. Have a good rest of your day. Be good, be safe. And if your garbage gets picked up on Wednesday, make sure you put it out tonight. That's a reminder to myself because I forgot last time. So thanks again for coming, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, okay? We'll see you later. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors, such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.